Today's recipe is my take on chicken parma. Now, this is a takeaway that seems to be gripping the nation. If you haven't tried it, it's just a really delicious, thin, crispy breaded chicken breast. It's topped with tomato and mozzarella. Now, I've kind of taken it apart and I've built it back up again a little bit fresher, a little bit lighter, but really easy to make in your kitchen. First thing you need to do is take 2 chicken breasts and using your knife trim any of the excess sinew or skin or anything like that off the chicken breast, and then carefully cut them horizontally to create a much thinner piece of meat and 4 portions. Now that you've got your 4 portions, you want a plate with some seasoned flour, so a little bit of salt and pepper in there, beaten egg in a bowl, and then you want some panko breadcrumbs, and I've added some Parmesan cheese grated just to give an extra bit of flavour in there. Now it's really important when you're doing this, always keep one hand clean and dry for the breadcrumbing, otherwise you end up with flour, egg and breadcrumbs all over your fingers and you really don't want that. So first of all, put the chicken breast, just do them one at a time. Put the chicken breast into the flour, turn it over both sides, get it really well coated. Then dip it into the egg mixture and then finally drop it into the breadcrumbs, switch hands, use your clean hand to lift the breadcrumbs onto the chicken breast and then coat that. Once it's coated, lift it off and pop it onto a plate and then do the same for all the others. Now it's time to cook them. So I've got a MasterClass non-stick frying pan here. Nice big family size pan, non-stick, brilliant because it can go under the grill, which will be really useful for later. Little splash of olive oil into the pan, get it up to a medium heat and then in with the chicken. If your pan isn't big enough, just do it in 2 batches. If it's big enough to do them all, happy days. Cook the chicken 3 to 4 minutes on each side until they go really nice and golden and crisp and they're fully cooked. I've also added a crushed clove of garlic, a little bit of thyme and some butter in the middle just to give that extra bit of flavour. These are the little secret tips that we'll give to you. So while the chicken's cooking, I'm going to make the topping. So I've got a little bit of garlic, maybe half a clove, chop that with a little bit of fresh thyme into the bowl. Then I've got some lovely sweet cherry tomatoes. I've cut them different shapes, some in half, some in quarters, it really doesn't matter. Pop them all into the bowl, add some balsamic vinegar or red wine vinegar, depending on what you prefer. A good glug of olive oil just to kind of coat it all and make it like a salad. And then some fresh basil leaf. Now when you're picking basil from the plant, pick it, carefully chop it. Don't chop it up and down and bruise it, otherwise it'll go bitter. Use the edge of your knife and push it through gently so that it cuts through the herb clean and maintains its flavour. Pop that in, mix it all together. Once you've turned the chicken over and it's cooking on the second side, add the cherry tomatoes carefully, sit them all on top of the chicken breasts, then with some nice fresh mozzarella, cut 2 slices for each portion and sit that on top of the tomato salad as well. Now that the mozzarella's just sat on top of those tomatoes, I'm going to give it a little season, a little bit of salt and pepper, tiny bit of oil, and then a few of the breadcrumbs that were left over from before, just to give it another texture. And then whack it under the grill for 2 or 3 minutes, max. You don't want it melting everywhere. You just want to warm that mozzarella through a little bit. So when it's all fully cooked, serve it up with a squeeze of lemon juice over the top and it will be amazing. Now, if you want the recipe, go to kitchencraft.co.uk and you will find it there with loads of other ideas that you can use in your kitchen.